Hey Marf, and this is going to be a very crazy update. We'll be right back right after this. More great news, of course. Remember, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone who helps with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, let's get this started. There is a lot to talk about. All right. If you guys have never been here before, my name is Adam, and this is Marfoogle News. We are actually going live to usually around 5,000 to 7,000 people at the moment. And then, of course, we've got our replay watchers. We've got Marfoogle News at 156,000 subscribers. We've got Marfoogle TV, which you're probably watching this on, live call-in shows at 118,000 subscribers. And then our D-Live family of almost 22,000 subscribers, or followers as they call them. So we've got all of the family members here. You've probably got some new people in that don't know exactly what this is about, what we're about. We're trying to spread positivity, but at the same time, we're going over all the stuff that your friends and neighbors and everybody else doesn't want to talk about, or you can't mention at the water cooler because they'll think you're a weirdo. Again, you are not crazy. We don't think you're crazy, and the whole point is that we can talk about this stuff without arguing and without fighting about it. Today is going to be a special update because we were actually not going to do a show, a full show, but this is too crazy not to cover. Honestly, with what is going on in Atlanta, you had the entire force walk out. I, among 14,000 other people, were actually listening to Atlanta Dispatch, and there was one lady, literally one lady on Dispatch talking about it the whole time. She was on there telling 3 or 4 people maybe what to do. Out of the thousands of police in the state, she was like the one person who stuck around. I don't even know if she works there, but she definitely was, she's got some work ethic. She said, I'm not going home. So it was radio silence for periods of an hour, and then there would be one little thing. And most of the people responding to dispatch was firefighters and other responders. And then, of course, we had videos come out last night that firemen were trying to go through mobs of people, getting stuff thrown at their trucks. This is supposedly what happened, right? And then we had all sorts of other things go down last night that we still don't know what's out. We almost think that there was some sort of blackout as far as communications. Now, at the same time, over the last few days, we've had these communications errors all over the country, T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint, and I've said that, and somebody actually called me out on Twitter and says, I find it interesting you never say Verizon. It's not... Verizon is Verizon. I guess I've just, every time, if I have had Verizon in the past, it was with a work or a job, and it was the lamest customer service ever. So just don't want to advertise for Verizon. In my opinion, they suck, and that's why I'll never go back to them. But if you're a Verizon head, that's fine. Go ahead. We're going to talk about, briefly, China, and mark my words, I told you literally, it was probably 32 days ago that I said, and this is because of our sources. In fact, Dex, I'm going to introduce Dex. Dex is going to be helping me co-host the show today. Dex, did we not call this? Did we not talk about what our sources said about news coming out about EMPs?
Yeah. Hey, Adam, I am here. And yeah, we certainly did. We talked about this at least a month ago, where we said something to the effect of, from our sources, there's going to be information coming out about this in the coming weeks.
And here it is, and there's more to come. This isn't even the full Monty here. So there's a lot to talk about around that subject. First, I do want to point out we're going to hit the quick news. We're going to go through a lot of this. Again, this is a shorter broadcast to really get the updates out, because this is extremely important stuff that we're dealing with right now. If you can imagine, say your state, whatever state it is, say, I'm in Washington, so all of Seattle and all of Washington with no police responding, nobody at 911 when you call. That's what happened. They were having correctional officers from the jails actually filling in for 911 dispatch, supposedly, and even working the streets. They then, I don't know exactly. So everybody was worried about you, Dex, because you are in Atlanta, but luckily you were about 45 minutes away from any of the kind of mess of it.
For those who aren't familiar with Atlanta, we're sprawl. We're really, really big. In other words, the city of Atlanta is pretty small, and there's many more people outside of the city of Atlanta in the suburbs, which spread out all over northeast, west, and south, all directions. I'm pretty far out in the suburbs, but yeah, I'm a good 2 counties away from, almost 3 counties away from where the city of Atlanta is.
And obviously, a lot of people are on Facebook locally, I'm sure, because your neighbors and everybody else, they're probably freaking out, saying now we don't have any police. The rest of the country is saying, half of them are not sympathetic, saying, well, here's your bed, you made it, now you lie in it. And then some are saying that, on the other side, people are saying, well, why would they leave? That's, despicable. The same people that said that they want to disband. So it's a very complicated issue. There's both sides yelling at each other. And again, we're here to spread positivity. We try to keep it. We don't call other creators names. We don't call other people names in our chat. Just to remind you, I know that there's a lot of new people coming in every single day, especially on the YouTube side. I think we got like 500 people yesterday, and a lot of them didn't understand how our chat works. These are all groups, and we actually have groups outside of this in Discord. We have state groups that prepare for any kind of disaster. One thing, once you let your wall down and you stop calling everybody jerks and this and that, you will realize that people will actually just chat with you and talk with you, and it's okay if you have a different view. Let's get past that. Atlanta police apparently... they tried to give their officers a $500 bonus, and they were like, yeah, that $500 isn't going to buy us back to come back. They're mad about the murder charge on one of their fellow police officers, and they're really not taking to anything. I don't know if some of them took it. I mean, honestly, some would go, $500, that's nothing. But again, I don't think people realize that police are not making $1 million a year. They're they don't make great wages until, later down in the job. And even then, it's not anything to write home about. I mean, they do a lot of crazy kinds of work, in fact, hazardous work every single day for not very much. The kind of, I got your 6 is something I said on Twitter, but the blue movement is kind of moving up. Again, now they've tried to make it to where if you do back up the police, that you are somehow tied into the other movements. No, I'm sorry. I'll just state it that, I'm at least backing the good police in all of cities, period. And I've known plenty in my lifetime. The first person who taught me how to dribble and taught me how to tie my shoes was a police chief named Rocky, and he was an amazing man. He literally was the staple of a good man. Maybe there's not too many of those around anymore. I don't know. But what I do know is that there still is good men and women on the police force. And it's very sad for them. It's very sad for everybody in this whole situation. So just want to let my view out, but that doesn't mean we have to fight about it. With this,
hey, Adam.
Yeah.
One other comment. I come from a blue family too. There is a lot of brotherhood amongst them. And like one of the things we reported on last night was that the calls from the city of Atlanta to other counties trying to get the police to come in and fill the voids, and they weren't doing it. They were saying, no, we're sticking by our brothers. And then the other point I would make, which is really interesting from a demographics point of view with Atlanta, is it's not a racial thing when it comes to the police, because the police in Atlanta, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, is about 60% black. So that brotherhood of police officers is really about the union of the police officers and has nothing to do with race.
Yeah, and even the gentleman that came down, his superior, again, it wasn't so much about the color of that. The police union that they have, it's separate, and it's some of it's unspoken, but some of it's everywhere, right? So it's a really kind of gray line between where that goes overboard or where it goes over the line and where it doesn't. And that's where people are trying to argue on both sides to try to get their point heard. But nobody is really listening to the other side. And people say they are. But I was talking to Brian from High Impact Flicks earlier, and it is literally every computer, every phone that you are on is like your own confirmation bias machine. The algorithms know you. They know absolutely what you believe. So even if you're trying to be devil's advocate and look up something on the other side and trying to be sympathetic or trying to see it from their view, it's going to give you something that is an article that is more geared towards debunking what you are trying to see for a fact. So I keep saying, if you're on the right or the left, it doesn't matter. Both are actually feeding you what you need to be fed to stay divided. That's what you have to realize. You actually need to talk to people in person. This whole, like, I'm an expert because I go online and research, it's BS. People watch the news. That's one way to kind of get into one side or the other, or they or they have little snippets. We don't realize it, but these 10-second little snippets or these memes or these things, it is true. They decide for us. And the fact is, those memes are suggested to us. They are put in our feed because of everything we do, everything you search, everything you are. That's, again, why a lot of people try to get VPNs and stuff like that, because it is not marking your IP and it's not giving you those super targeted ads. That's actually how most people should be trying to get outside their circle. That's not part of our VPN thing. We, of course, have Nord. But again, that's why people use it. And then messages call for NYPD July 4th strike to protest anti-police climate. So, again, it says text messages circulating throughout New York Police Department are calling for members to strike on 4th of July in protest of the anti-police rhetoric and budget cut proposals, as tensions in the wake of the recent officer-involved perished have reverberated across the city and country. So again, this is now New York talking about it. We've got other states and cities. We're actually going to be monitoring the situation. We've got people in every single state actually monitoring this. So make sure, if you're not subscribed already, to subscribe. We're going to be covering this and getting a bunch more information. Go ahead. You have another part to this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The 4th of July, that's like a really big deal in New York. And I just did a quick check. I'm not sure if de Blasio has canceled the fireworks, but I think they're still on. So
well, we have
if there's a strike there, that's a lot of people that are out in the streets for the event.
I don't think it will be normal. I think we'll probably be in second wave territory as far as mainstream stuff goes. I don't know though. If they are going to have it, that's a big step forward from lockdowns. But who knows? Maybe they've moved on to new, bigger, better things now. So as far as all of New York police, that's a big deal. This is a big deal because this is worldwide. I'm not going to go into the long thing, but essentially I found out my sister, on the same night I did, had this crazy lucid dream about a tsunami and flood, and she was in a tree and things were floating around her. The same night I had one that I was in my truck with my wife and my baby, and a wave hit the side of our truck and 180'd us and carried us over a dock of people. It was the scariest dream. I woke up shaking. Apparently my sister woke up shaking the same night. Creepy stuff like that. If you've ever had that happen, comment. Make sure to say, do you have a sibling that, has had something similar, or even a friend or a boyfriend or a husband or somebody that had that. We just had that 2 nights ago at the same time, and it was really disturbing. It freaked her out to find out about mine. It freaked me out to find out about hers. Just really creepy. Then we've got 7.0 earthquakes. These are absolutely gigantic. And New Zealand is no stranger to this. New Zealand, in fact, also has a couple things that, if it broke off and fell into the water, it could cause a tsunami itself. But this was this can literally shake up things. A 7.4 in New Zealand could cause a 7.5 in, Japan or whatever. Just for example, there's they call them, gosh, what are they called? Now I've lost the word. It's a word for if one happens somewhere, it triggers something else. I know people are going to say it in the chat too. Somebody's got to have it.
I'm lost. I don't know what word you're looking for. I'm sorry.
Dutch Sense talks about them all the time. It's not a quadrant. It's you guys. No, not butterfly effect. Good guess though. Domino. No. It's no reaction. Nope. Nobody's got it. Apodose, something like that. It's antipode. Thank you, Lucky Ticky 2. You are the winner of a thank you. I appreciate it. That seriously, antipode. So a 7.4 in New Zealand could potentially trigger a antipode somewhere else. On the other end, we've got Locked and Loaded. We've got Cascadia Subduction Zone. I mean, 2020 has literally just not stopped throwing curveballs. At this point, we've got the government considering it they thought it was going to happen for sure like 3 years ago. You've got FEMA, Federal Emergency, those guys doing gigantic drills, the largest in history on the West Coast just a few years back in 2015. You've got 21 states preparing for the Cascadia Subduction Zone. So that gives you kind of an idea of how big this thing is going to be. It's not going to just affect the 3 states. And by the way, that's a big deal. An earthquake that doesn't just happen in a little single area like this, an earthquake that happens all the way from Canada to the beginning of California, and everyone feels it just the same. Literally, the entire United States goes clack and creates a tsunami that is, we don't even know how tall. It could be 100 feet waves. It could be 60-foot waves. It could be 30-foot waves. It's going to go up in between skyscrapers like you are in, the Rock Johnson movie. That's how crazy this is going to be. So every earthquake like this could set off other smaller ones, or it could set off bigger ones. We don't know. Again, hazardous tsunami waves from this earthquake are possible within 300 kilometers of the epicenter. National Emergency Management Agency warned that coastal areas may experience strong and unusual currents and unpredictable surges. Now, do we have an exact time when this happened? It doesn't actually say in the article here. Don't know if you have that info. Let's see here.
So the 7.4 was around 8:49 a.m., which would have been, I'm assuming, is Eastern time on the view I'm looking at.
So that would be
today,
about 5 Pacific. So that's about 12 hours ago. So I would think that we're safe from that. So it does say that there's no tsunami threat. Now, this says, as T-Man warns of leftist violence, a dangerous threat emerges from the right-wing Boogaloo movement. Boogaloo? What the hell is a Boogaloo movement? Well, let's see. It says a far-right extremist group born on social media and fueled by anti-government rhetoric has emerged as a real-world threat in recent weeks, with federal authorities accusing some of its adherents of allegedly working to spark violence at largely peaceful protests roiling the nation. At a time when President DT and other top U.S. officials have claimed, with little evidence, that the other side were fermenting violence, federal prosecutors have charged various supporters of a right-wing group which calls itself the Boogaloo Boys. So I don't know what the heck of the deal with this is.
I have never heard of this. It's like something new in the news, and have you heard of this name before?
The Boogaloo Boys? No, I have not.
Yeah, that's what I thought was odd that they're pushing this in, because I've just never heard of it.
Well, probably a Facebook group or something. I don't know. They've got some pretty funky names, though. And it's just not threatening. Like, well, okay, I won't say anything. Watch, I'll get and a bunch of dudes like the biggest ninjas in the world or something. The Boogaloo Boys. I don't know. I'm sure that after this week that word will be filtered, so I might as well say it as much as I can. The Boogaloos. The Boogala.
Or don't, because they're going to come back and find our video, the algorithm.
I know, and that's exactly what we're fighting.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
Thought?
So you guys don't know this, but every video, the translation goes through because you have to have closed captions. Well, that algorithm takes it, and you'll see. You can even do live. and it will try to do it as fast as it can, just like on TV. Well, if that has those filter words in it, they don't even have to search for it. It just pops up automatically. That's how live streams end up cutting out if you're talking about certain subjects. It's pretty nuts to see. Again, if you guys want to protect yourself against EMPs, which we're going to show you here in a second, is actually becoming a great threat. This is why we're working with EMP Shield. EMP Shield is actually helping the DEMSO team. They're officially on DEMSO, protecting the Texas grid. They are also, they've worked with DOD. They've worked with DHS. Of course, DHS told us in 2018 of September that every American should have 6 months to a year worth of food and water in case of a grid down scenario. So I'm going to show you this. This is exactly these tie-in. We've been trying to tell people there's many ways to protect yourself. The three things that we mainly do are to protect our Foogle family. So again, look, check this out. U.S. report claims China intends nuclear first strike with stolen super EMP weapons. It says a congressional advisory board has warned that Beijing developed at least 3 weapons capable of attacking the U.S. electrical grids and intends on using them in a first strike scenario, calling China's no first use policy, quote, a bodyguard of lies and disinformation. It says, and this is the EMP task force. This is what we've talked about. This is the friends that we've had on the show are part of. This is what we've been kind of leading up to this whole time. It says, according to a June 10th report by the EMP Task Force on National and Homeland Security, China has developed 3 kinds of specialized nuclear weapons capable of delivering a massive electromagnetic pulse that would knock out the U.S. electrical grid as a prelude to a full-scale attack. Now, what they've said, some of their quotes are actually talking about some of the plans that they had, some of their public comments, what they have actually said they would do, what they've threatened, and then they said, oh, well, we can also take your telecommunications out, which a lot of the chips and a lot of the things that we wondered, and this is why military and all these people are trying to not use apps, not use this, not use that, not use their drones, because we found out that there might possibly be backdoors in all this. And then all of a sudden, just a couple days ago, all of our phones go out. Literally, you can't even call 911. If there was a dispatcher there to answer your call, you can't get a hold of anybody because T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, and everybody else is just not working. All of them, different towers, everything's out. But oh no, it's just slight maintenance issue. We probably pushed an update button too easy. Maybe it was the loading dots. I don't know. But for 18 hours, thousands and thousands, if not millions of people did not have phone service. Like none. Who even has a landline anymore? We do because we thought about it. But before that, we went 5-6 years without one. I know my sisters, I know my aunts, I know a bunch of people that do not have a landline anymore. I only have one aunt that has a landline. I have 2 aunts that have a landline. All the rest of my family members, they're on cell phones now. Think about it if they go down. So we're having these random outages at the same time as everything is at its weakest. We've, of course, got whole states having police forces walk out. We have places in the country that are literally taken over by groups of just people that are saying, this is our land now. I mean, like, this is some crazy stuff. It says, according to this, it says, quote, China's alleged nuclear no first use doctrine, like the USSR's during the Cold War, is almost certainly disinformation. Peter Pry, the task force executive director, writes in the report. Now, remember, Peter Pry is somebody that he's wrote the book on it. We've talked to this gentleman. We've been trying to get him actually on the show. He talks to people that we talk to. There's a lot of stuff going around about this. It says, Pry argues that considering China's defensive capabilities and methods of detection, a, quote, no first use policy does not withstand the test of common sense. For example, China doesn't have the same kind of ballistic missile early warning systems and satellites detection systems as the U.S. that could alert it to such an inbound attack. Excuse me. And its small nuclear arsenal, estimated to 320 nuclear warheads this past January by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, would suffer a large percentage of losses in such a first strike, whether it comes from the U.S., Russia, or even India, which they're currently throwing people off the cliff for in that last little battle there in the Himalayas. It says, in order to deliver such an attack, China's People Liberation Army, or the PLA, has at least three methods. According to one report, one is a, quote, super EMP, or a nuclear warhead designed to maximize the electromagnetic shockwave. Rather than its raw destructive power, such a weapon would be detonated high in the atmosphere, and the U.S. knows it because it tested such a weapon in 1962, called Starfish Prime, and disable electronics devices for a large radius around it, from computers to power grids to aircraft in flight. Planes would... It's straight out of a movie like Left Behind.
And satellites.
Imagine all of the satellites.
There were numerous ones that went down from Starfish Prime.
And then imagine all of the Starlink or these little pieces of metal just coming down to Earth. Absolutely nuts. So there's more and more coming out about it.
There was a critical point back there, Adam. The no first use. Guess who just tested that? We reported on it here first. It was maybe like 4 weeks ago. Russia came out and said they were getting rid of that. That they were not going to have a no first use. Remember, they said that if someone attacked one of their allies, they had the right then to use a nuke back, right? Remember that?
Yep.
So they've eliminated that. Now, you would think if this was a big deal and they eliminated it, there would be a huge uproar. I think it was a test. They eliminated that, and nobody did anything about it. So next up will be China saying, hey, we're going to eliminate that. We have it. We don't need it anymore. Russia doesn't have it. We don't have it. So now they can get rid of the doctrine that they say is just lip service. And
remember this too. Russia has separated their internet completely. It was done within a few months from the day they said, I think we want to do this. We're going to try to pass a law. And then in a couple days, they were like, we're doing this. And then in a couple months, they were doing their first test. In a couple months, they did their second test. They've had recent tests where they've put every single person in Moscow down in a nuclear bunker. These are long games. These are not things you plan for and, in about 2 weeks we'll do this. These are things people plan for years. This is literally, they have experts on all sides in China and Russia and US actually playing out every step. They don't just go, oh, well, let's look 3 steps ahead. They look years and even decades ahead at the consequences of what they do and how they do it. They have simulations. At this point, they actually have, you're talking about Geordie Rose type supercomputers doing simulations of what would happen and how would it happen, trying to look into the future of what would actually happen during these things. So this is an actual, this is more coming out as we speak. And I'm telling you, I told you, I don't know if anybody remembers us specifically telling you, and we're not trying to brag here, we're just trying to say, if you guys have followed us for this long, you understand when we do say something, especially if we say, mark our words, boom, within 30 to 60 days, we would have more news on this, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's more to come on this. So the thing is, there's tons of chatter, and then China is making comments. They're saying, they're talking about the Pearl Harbor events and things like that. They're bringing that back up, and they've brought it up before, back in 2005. They've done some weird comments, and their foreign advisors, all sorts of things are going on right now. With the current state of the world and everything else, a lot of people think that almost on purpose, something will happen right before we get our put our envelopes in that little box, where we all put one little check mark in a box and send it off. So if you guys want to protect yourself against that, that's why we've worked with EMP Shield for so long. Again, this is an actual device that hooks up into all different kinds of devices. You can get different ones for everything, your car, your ham radio. You can get one for your house. If you have all of those, including your generator, then you will actually be protected. You can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/EMP. But you can actually go to our website, and all of our sponsors are over here. you can actually just click on the first one at the top. It actually blocks against all 3 phases of it. So again, all the Foogle family should have one. All right. So with that being said, what do you guys think as far as everything that is going down right now? Do you think that this is all just a joke? Do you think nothing's ever going to happen? Because it doesn't look like that. Even Steven Crowder today said he believes that we actually could have a civil conflict now. A lot of people that have said in the past, and the reason I say him is he said, no, it will never happen. People like that are now flip-flopping and saying, I don't know. Because it's set up. If the police officer gets off, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be 1992 times 10. Coffee Man 420, thank you so much. James 89, I appreciate the diamond. Memory trigger. F, false. E, evidence. A, appearing. R, real equals fear. Memory trigger. That's a good, I don't know what they call them, anagrams, or I don't know the word. Not analogy. You guys know what I'm talking about. Snowboard, thank you for being here. Heaven's Calling, thank you for gifting subscriptions to people over on DLive. And then on YouTube, we've got a bunch of, Kirsten Izzard says, I just did a new screen name. Does anybody see me? Yes, I see it. Let's see here. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss you, especially there. Where was that? That is so weird. Christine Izio over on YouTube says, had to create a new account. Can you guys see me? Yes, we can. Christine Izio, thank you for your support. C. Green, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Jen J, thank you so much for following as well. Doc Bill says, China says they are working on an EMP. Doc Bill, obviously you caught the drift of this show before we did it. Arena Comstock, thank you for your support. You can always write a message there. K. Seeper Sad 2380 says, can't find Able Body's call from January 2019. Bad when hired hands restore order. 5-0 defunded. Stop fighting. Work together. People need to hear that call. So he or she, I can't see a gender on that name there, is talking about able-bodied, one of our Foogle family members who called in. She lived through actual martial law during Hurricane Katrina. Her call was so riveting. Half of our audience that listened, it was like 4,000 people tuned in live to that show. Half of them were crying because of the stuff that she talked about and went through during that. That was back about a year ago when people were actually shouting. Certain groups were saying, yeah, we want martial law. It's all part of the plan. I get what you guys are saying, but nobody wants real martial law. It's really bad. And if you listen to that call, which I don't know, we'll check on that. It might, I don't think we deleted it or anything. Might just be kind of weirdly titled or, yeah. I've actually suggested it years later. So Yosemite Prepper, thank you. Stay safe. Marf just made a channel a few days ago. Yosemite Prepper, that's awesome. We also want to have any volunteer prep teachers. If you are actually qualified to teach in anything or something, let us know. We could do online classes outside of the show. Do something where we can bring the audience to you. You can teach a subject, and then in return, somebody else will teach you something. That's what we're trying to, that's one thing I'm trying to do now. Western Body, please stay safe. I appreciate that. Doc Bill, the Boogaloo movement, adherents to which are often referred to as the Boogaloo Boys or Boogaloo Boys, is a loosely organized American far-right movement. Yeah, I did not know that. Thank you for the definition, though, Doc Bill. Malik Claunch says, have you heard of the new king in the UK? No, I'm sure I've read about it, but no. Deepwoods Country Boy says, it's getting pretty sporty out here. Sporty. Deepwoods Country Boy, thank you for the support. I guess I don't know where you are. Jose J. Gonzalez says, USA stay strong in good we trust. I like it. Wrong Way has followed. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to the fam. Merry Christmas 2.0 says, repent and be baptized in Jesus' name. Acts 37:38. This is the only way to heaven. And then Sacktown Stamper, you're sharing things we need to hear. Thank you. Sacktown Stamper, thank you for actually being one of the Few. I thank you. With this, we've been telling you for 2 years. Even if you don't, that's why we say, if you don't go through us, go around us. Go through a different creator. You don't have to put our code in. You don't have to go through our website. You can go somewhere else. That's why we have suggested this. And people have. People go around, or they'll go to the website and don't put us in or anything. They've got, however many different creators that actually, tell people about their stuff. So you don't have to go through us, but you should be looking at some sort of protection. So people go, well, if the grid doesn't come back on, what do you do? That's why if you have your generator and all of your devices in your house, everything, if all of your things are covered, then you can restart and you've got your own grid right there. And all of your devices. Ring of Fire eclipse could be sign of apocalypse, sending darkness over the Holy Land. Now, this is just kind of a piece where that, all of these kind of things pop up. Of course, everybody's emailing us. All these signs are happening. Jacob Israel is actually talking about the 3 days of darkness and how we've seen almost all of the 10 plagues, literally, like even frogs and fleas and all these other things that have happened. It says, in a striking coincidence, the 2020 summer solstice will occur on the same day as a major annular eclipse. It's like, what the heck, guys? Every single week we are having some new lunar moon event. Do you guys remember this for the, first half of your lives? I didn't. It says, but some believe it's more of a coincidence, and that darkness will fall on June 21st is a sign of an apocalypse is near. And they've said this many times, so is it really this time? Who knows? It says an annular eclipse takes place when the moon is too far from its orbit to completely block out the sun, creating an eerie ring of fire. This is straight out of the movie The Ring with the white ring. This is creepy. It says the solar eclipse this Sunday is the first time the breathtaking phenomenon has occurred this year. And experts say it will be the deepest one of the century, as it will take place during solstice when the sun is at its maximum elevation. So this is going to be incredibly bright. It's going to look, just something just like this. It's going to look like a ring on your coffee table. Probably the most beautiful coffee ring ever. Either way, is it a sign of something else? I'll leave that up to my friends and my constituents that cover that kind of stuff. But with this, I don't doubt it. I thank God every single day that I'm still here. I am actually grateful for every minute here. Maybe it's several near-death experiences, like almost drowning, almost dying in car crashes, and almost dying of an early life back in the day of an OD. I would never do anything like that kind of stuff again. I appreciate life now, and I literally cherish and this is what I don't think people are doing. People are getting caught up in the small stuff of today when there's so much more. I mean, this is literally a beautiful life, and if you don't see that, then, you need somebody to reach out and grab you and help, because not all of our brains are wired the right way, and some of us need actual help, because, none of this should be happening right now. So, June snow blankets parts of Idaho. Montana sheriff issues warrant for Mother Nature over illegal dumping. This is one I'll let you guys go into. Dex, do you have actually, and by the way, you added this in here for a reason, so if you want to sum that up.
Yeah, it's June and it's snowing. I mean, come on. What's up with the weather there?
And then this is in Idaho. This is literally June. We are 3 days away from summer solstice. So obviously all of the weird weather is not stopping. It's only getting crazier. And then we've got a mysterious UFO captured imaginations in Japan. This looks like a big-ass balloon. It even has like a little dot. But apparently,
yeah, that's what they said. So they went. Everybody looked at it. Everybody thought it was a balloon. No one took credit for it. None of the weather forecasting universities and other things like that took credit for it. The aviation flew helicopters up to confirm it was there, and saw it and said, yes, this weird thing is here. And they didn't know who it was. And they still can't figure out who was responsible for this. But it did float over Japan and then just kept going out into the ocean somewhere.
Wait a second. So it actually had cross sticks and propellers. This is so weird. It says it's hardly the stuff of little green men, but a mysterious balloon-like object was seen floating across the skies of northern Japan, has captured national attention, even prompting questions to the government. The unidentified flying object was first spotted on Wednesday morning when residents in northern Sendai City took to social media to post pictures and debate what the heck they were seeing. It says this white thing isn't moving at all. What is it? Can anyone tell me? Wrote one user, with others chiming in and using the hashtag unidentified flying object. I like how they say hashtag quote and then a long ass. I think it would be hashtag UFO, but okay, whatever. Authorities said that they were baffled by the object, which close-up images taken by local residents and media suggest that it was composed of a balloon-like object attached to crossed sticks with propellers. But wait, it says the object looks like a balloon for monitoring weather, but it's not ours. It says an official at Sendai Bureau of Japan Meteorological Agency told AFP or the Associated Press on Thursday. It says that local police reportedly flew a helicopter to confirm the presence of the object, but also drew a blank on its identity. So they actually flew a helicopter up to it and didn't know what the heck this thing was. Is this the false alien invasion? Like, what is going on here? We've got mystery drones flying all over that the government says that they don't know about, and then they've got a freaking giant Pokeball floating over their damn city, and nobody knows what it is. I have a feeling that Ash is not behind this. It says Senichiro Hagashino, an associate professor at the department, told Fuji TV that a close-up image suggested that the object was equipped with solar panels. What in the is this? It says it's possible it can conduct scientific observations or monitor something. So is this another smaller country's tool that they're floating over? How would you try to... I mean, somebody would just shoot this down. Why didn't they shoot this down? What if this was a weapon and they just, like idiots, flew their helicopter up to it? What is it? Think about this. They could have flown over a EMP device just like that and made it look peaceful, no exposed weapons, and then boom. It's kind of a crazy thing to think about, because if that happened, you don't just instantly shoot down something. If it was a jet with, Russian numbers on it and it's going right to the White House, yeah, they would shoot it down. But would they shoot something like that down? Maybe if it was directly over the White House. But what if it was floating over and they spent an hour looking at it going, what is this? If something doesn't have a tracker, they probably should have taken this thing down. And then get this. The mystery may remain unresolved. The object has now reportedly floated out to the Pacific, where authorities have lost track of it. Are you effing kidding? They lost track of a huge, ginormous balloon. We don't even know. It's a floating object with cross sticks and what looks like propellers. Is this James and the Giant White Peach? Like, what the hell is this? One of the weirdest stories of the day, that's for sure. And this, we're just going to hit real quick. You might get a $4,000 vacation credit in the new stimulus package. It says, could taxpayers be footing part of the bill for your next vacation? President DT, Commander-in-Chief, has endorsed an idea to give Americans a tax credit to be used towards a vacation to help boost the economy. It's called Explore America Tax Credit. It says the president talking it up during the White House roundtable on May 18th, according to the Orlando Sentinel. The proposal could give up to $4,000 to Americans for vacation expenses inside the U.S. So I don't know if this means you can go out of the country, but you can go to Seattle, New York, or from Georgia to Florida. And it says at hotels, theme parks, restaurants, and other tourism-related businesses throughout the end of 2021. which is a wild change considering we were all stuck in our houses. Who knows, though? Merry Christmas 2.0 says repent and be baptized. Got that again. Thank you so much. Of course, you can put that as many times as you want there. Walk with me 76. Please, everyone, pray against these satanic marches scheduled for June 21st. So far, 9 cities across America scheduled them. So what Walk with Me 76 is talking about is actual satanic stuff that is going on, and they've planned marches. I still don't know about. Me and Dex are going to look into it. We actually covered it the other day, but we didn't go deeply into it. It's all over Facebook. People are talking about it. It's really crazy. Please stay safe out there, Marf, says cat tat 20. I appreciate that, of course. Uper Viking, apparently June 21st is the new end of the Mayan calendar as well. So Uper, that is really scary to me. And there is just a little part of me that freaks out about that because Stephen Hawking was one of the first people that said we probably did the math wrong on the Mayan calendar. And remember, even though most people are like, that's stupid, even though before, in 2012, there's a lot of people that thought the world was going to end. But they said because of leap years or something like that, that the Mayan calendar actually goes to 2020. June 21st. Crazy, right? And then it says, Venecchio Potasio, V-Rock's Pit. Thanks, man. Says, hey, Adam, hey, Dex, and the mods, and the Foogle fam, and the Mafia worldwide. Venecchi, thank you so much for Venecchi. Thank you for spending time with us and being here for so long. You've been here for over a year now. Thank you. C-Tac Stamper, you're sharing things. Thank you. And then, again, Miss Jackson 906, thank you guys for the lemons. Robin 119, thank you guys for supporting. Some names here. Grace for you too. Dixie Doe, Chick Little, Texas Rob, Sailing Dogs, The Joker, thank you for subscribing. A creator supporting a creator. I appreciate that. Flying Labia of Doom. I don't think I should have said that, but thank you for subscribing. Leslie 817, Angela 1609, Maui Racing Realtors, Shy the Coffee, the jet stream is changing. Hashtag mag pole shift. Is that actually a hashtag? I gotta check that out. Luna Soul, I know pole shift is, but again, there are some interesting hashtags that I've gone down numerous rabbit holes. Dixie Doe, so much is happening so fast, so much. End times. Dixie Doe, God knew we needed you, Adam. Well, thanks, Dixie Doe. That's really awesome of you to say. Back to good. Appreciate the lemon. Pamela Ephesians. Caked your TH. We've got Ripper Water 69. Thank you. Kelly 2334. Thank you for over and over coming every single night. Either, whether you support or not, you're always here. Military helicopters flying low in northeast Georgia today, says screen name Informed Woman. I don't believe I've met you yet, so thank you and welcome in. Jen Ewing, thank you again for your support as well. Texas Rob, thank you. Luna Soul, Twyla Sayin, Watch Wolf. We've got Gem, just received a 1-month subscription from Heaven's Calling. Thank you guys. A Pain, 23 Skidoo, PMC 2020. We've got a lot of awesome names in here over and over. Thank you guys. Kind of tired out of all of it. I'll just hide in my cave for a while, says Remote Chris. Well, thank you for coming out of your cave in a Ninjaghini. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for your support. That is incredibly generous. I appreciate you. Let's see here. And then Mr. Cornholio, I appreciate that as well. Leuven, all of you guys, look at that, all of the Mafia badges. Look at that. That is so awesome. All the subscribers there. Thank you guys. Yeah. Only my own voice as well. Thank you for gifting subs. So with this, there's a lot to cover here. Again, we were not going to do a normal show today. Northern Tiger, you are here. Thank you for being here. So Chop Leader is getting a studio built for him, paid for by the city of Seattle. Where do I sign up? Says Paul Crane. So, by the way, the leader of Chop handing the kid an AR-15, that was absolutely nuts. You could tell the kid's never even held anything of that nature. That video, it's funny because the woman says somebody actually walks by and says, "What are you effing proud, boys?" And she laughs about it. And she's like, they thought you were an effing proud boy. Do you see how messed up that is? Like I've seen arguments in my own family where they see somebody holding something and they go, "Oh, he's one of this," and that means he's racist. Well, this is them on the side. This guy's directly with the leader of the movement, and they think that he is. So it was funny to me. It's ironic because people see that and they automatically think, "Oh, that guy's a racist," when he's actually standing right beside the person who is the leader of the opposite of that, right? So I thought that was pretty crazy. Hello, Marf. I think I saw you on Twitter today. Northern Tiger. I hope you did. You should follow me on Twitter at Marfoogle. Jay Dalek says Catherine Wheelberger, top Pentagon official, resigns. Also, some stores in Colorado not taking cash, and I'm seeing more tanks. Posted a video in my channel. Jay Dalek, I'll make sure to check it out. If we see something really awesome, we'll post it on our website. And then, again, yeah, with Seattle and all that, I don't know about the studio, so we'll be covering that on the next show. We wanted to go over some of this. This is really big news. Again, we knew some of this was there. We just weren't able to say much. I don't think it's going to be in the next few months, but I do think that we are getting set up for something. So please make sure to do a ton of stuff there. Love the vids, love the fam. First time donating, long time subscriber. Well, Firecracker, I actually have not seen your name much, so a lot of people change their names a lot. It's nice to meet you as well. You guys, Dex, you're in Georgia. You're going to keep us updated on all the stuff that's going on in Georgia, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm paying attention to what's happening here.
So, and have you heard of anything? Are they going back yet? I mean, do we have that kind of news here yet?
No, we don't know. It seems like earlier today that only one officer reported in Zone 7 to work. And I do know that the other officers that were charged, both were due into police today. They had to turn themselves in. One turned himself in the morning and he bailed himself out, bonded himself out the same day today. And then the other one had no bond. He was brought in and then they've immediately moved him up into a northern suburb county out of the city.
So, and then another thing. So I didn't realize that they didn't already have the officer. When they declared his charges, he was still out and about, not arrested. So he had to actually turn himself into those charges, which is pretty crazy to think about when you consider the level of charge. It's like he's saying goodbye to his family, essentially. Like he could never come back. There's a chance that he will go, not only never come back, maybe spend the rest of his life in jail, but technically, because of the charge and where it is in Georgia, he could be executed. That's what the part of this huge debate is. I was trying to see James89. I apologize if I didn't see your message, but we always try to go back and look. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I wish I would have saw that. And then Weezer Wheeze. I'm so thankful for you and Dex. Been watching since February 2018. Appreciate that. All time. Thank you guys. Amy R. Susan Donahue. Thank you. End Times. Lots of craziness going on, and you guys supporting us and helping us grow is a truly awesome thing. Again, if you guys do want to help us in a different way, you can also go through NordVPN. This is how you stop getting that targeted ads and things like that. Put yourself somewhere else. You can even get different Netflix videos if you put yourself in a different part of the world. But mainly, this is to secure yourself. If you've worked your entire life to get your credit score to a certain point, you don't want somebody just snatching it into your computer and ruining all of that and possibly ruining your whole life. NordVPN, if you do this through us, not only do you save, you can save up over 70% on their biggest plan, but you also help us. A commission of that goes to us, and then it helps the channel. And it works on 6 different devices. If you also haven't seen it, you guys really should. And there's a reason every single partner we have E-Deck bags are actual, they're Faraday bags is what most people call them. But these, they actually have two different kinds. There are ones with the window, which they've been making for 12 years. They've been doing these for FBI, DOD. Again, E-Deck is a respected brand. We didn't want to just get any kind of BS brand. This, again, is the ultimate. So this is the new off-grid one. It's the one I use. But again, with the utility bag, you actually have a window so you can still use it. So you can either go either way, but go through it. You can find it really simply at marfooglenews.com/edeck. These things are legit. You literally put it in. I didn't even close it, and it cut off all signal instantly. If you don't want to be contact traced, you should have something like this. You can get the savings code Marfoogle. Thank you guys for joining. It's not a normal show tonight. Again, we're going to be coming back hard on YouTube and DLive, and then Saturday we're going to be doing DLive only. So remember that. Saturday should be around 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow should be about the same. Old Dude Andy, hey Foogle fam, it's seriously time to take a 10-day vacation from the internet. AI is in control. Well, Old Dude Andy, hopefully the stimulus pays for that vacation. Kelly2334, I appreciate you guys. Please be safe, be prepared. And Dex, you were supposed
Marf
to...
out.
But you were supposed to say out or Dex out and then finish
Dex
my
out.
sentence.
Marf out.
Okay.
The Foogle fam's out.
Be
Although
safe.
we're going to hang out for...
Be safe. Be prepared. And...
Marf out.
Dex out. Dex out. You got to say Dex out.
Just messing with you. Dex out. Love you, Adam. Great show.
Be safe. Be prepared. And...
Dex out.
Thank you. All Dude Andy, thank you again. Appreciate it. All of you guys tonight that did that. You have a good night. Special shout out to Heaven's Calling. Thank you for being the top contributor tonight. James89, thank you for being number 2. Looks like you did send those. Old Dude Andy, thank you. Looks like you did end up taking that spot. Foogle fan, thank you as well. Tower Bear, thank you for being number 5. Gone Girl 777, aka Archives of Truth, thank you guys for being number 1 this month. And Amy R. and Susan Donahue, thank you for being number 1 of all time. Love you guys. Be safe. Be prepared. Forget it.
Mask off, be a bad mascot, take the mask off. Hey Thunderbird, hey J Fun, hey Chucky Gal, hey Gregor 2, hey James 89 with the what? With the red in the valley, bring it back down, and you know that we count in a bag, and we know, and the ho ho, and the ho ho, and the ho ho, and the ho ho. On the pandemic. We'll be on the pandemic. We'll be on the pandemic. Necro 13. We'll be on the pandemic. We'll be on the pandemic.
Reed55, thank you for being here. Vango54, I appreciate you. Cutthroat Mom, PHX Breeze, enchanted by you. Gotta go, not a singing on. Now I'm gonna put it on high and big and long. Hey, high impact, gonna flip it. I'm gonna bring it back around, and now you gotta grip it, and you're gonna say hello, and then you're gonna say goodbye. If I hold somebody that you don't like, well, you just leave. Hey, you just leave. Gonna get it back down, do get me. Hey guys, make sure to show love. We're going to be hosting somebody random today, but this one is actually, we picked this earlier. So again, if you don't like the channel that you're watching, make sure to tune out. Have a good night, you two. Love ya. Thank you, Susan Donahue. Thank you, Amy R. Thank you, Gone Girl, Archives of Truth, End Times, Damon Draco, all sorts of folks.